What's up, Trios Tribe? Bringing you guys another, bringing you guys the first North American EX06 regional, hosted by CoreTCG and commentated by me and Digipanda. So if you got the stream, thanks. It was great. It's always fun getting to do that for people, and especially lately since it's been kind of hit or miss if we even get coverage at all. But anyway, top 16, EX06, EggmanEvents.com. You guys know where we're at. We're always here. We're always trying to report this stuff. Not mandatory 9-round tournament, 359 players. Pretty sure it's sold out, capped out. Even the wait list was able to get through. So sign up for events, man. You never know if you can get in or not, especially if you're hunting out the invite. Plenty of people got their invites today. Imperial takes it. Bryce, the defending North American Nationals champion, taking it. Took it. Isn't technically undefeated, and that's probably a whole other conversation to yap about. And like, I want it known that like, if I complain about the fact that our winner is not undefeated, that has nothing to do with Bryce, that has nothing to do with CoreTCG, that is just how Bandai is, that is all purely on Bandai rules. So my complaints are towards that and not anyone else involved. Like Bryce, it's not Bryce's fault, right? Like, or Core's, like Core is running by the rules, right? So just little asterisks on that. But yeah, I mean, Imperial showed, like, looking at what actually topped in the top 16, Imperial took it, or Imperial taking it, and Imperial not only did it take it, but it has one of its strongest showings it's had in a while. And then AllForce as well. Martin Lee, famous I guess he's like a meme at this point. With AllForce showing up, and actually the player that was undefeated, the only player to go undefeated until the final round, was Stephen Lee with their TyrantKabuterimon deck. That was such a fun ride to watch. Check out the VOD when you can of all those matches. It was excellent to watch, and it was so unfortunate to see how the last match ended. He was just kind of bricked, and it's Digimon, man. It's Digimon. Oh, but it was such a great thing to watch. Notably, like EX6, you know, I went into it thinking like Numemon has a chance to do something, and then 7 Great Demon Lords. I think a lot of people were, you know, eyes out on 7 Demon Lords to make sure, like, you know, let's make sure we were educated on how to play against that deck, and we'll note a couple of stuff there about it in future decks. But yeah, only one was able to top. Idan. I don't know what vowels, man. 15th place. So we got only one in the top 16, but it's still a new deck, and I think there's still a lot of ways to like correctly play it. It has to play into matchups slightly differently because it's a toolbox deck. It's like Royal Knights. As we saw that throughout the format, Royal Knights got more and more solidified, and we're probably gonna have to see that in 7 Demon Lords as well. Yeah, other than that, 2 Yellow Vaccine, 2 Mirage, 1 Tyrant, 1 AllForce, 1 7 Great Demon Lord, 3 Imperial, 6 Numemon. Numemon kind of taking a slight step back, but still clearly the most represented deck. It'd be interesting to see the conversion rates on how they were able to do that. Like, how good is Numemon? Because I feel like this is a sign of Numemon slipping, but I'm very known for copium, so... Anyway, you guys are here for the list. Let's go into the list, and I can yap about them as we go. So, this is 15th place Idan's 7 Great Demon Lord list. And so this is the first time we've ever got to look at it, I'm gonna have to take my time to talk about it. So, the basic premise is you pretty much do have to run at least one of every Demon Lord. And so the idea is you get all 7 different names under this Gate of Deadly Sins, and then you're able to you're able to summon your boss monster in this Gudamon. And does crazy stuff. I'm not going to explain every card to you guys, but anyway, you have the baby Lucemon, who doesn't count. You can't get him under the Gate of Deadly Sins, so that's one card that's not. So we actually, a lot of our focus here, as you'll see, we're actually trying to get different names. Levia X counts as its own separate name from Leviamon. That's why we're there. Chaos Mode is a Chaos Mode being a separate identity from Lucemon, the child, but like anyway, that doesn't matter. I don't know. Ascent of the 7 Great Demon Lords has 7 Great Demon Lords tags, so you can get that name under the Gate of Deadly Sins. Belphamon's Sleep Mode counts as its own name, and then like that's why we see justification for things like one-ofs of this Barbramon, one-ofs of these Rage Modes, because Rage Mode and Sleep Mode are 2 different names. It's just stuff like that is very, very interesting. We see Biting Crush. Biting Crush actually ends up being a very powerful card in this deck, and that's why we see the double Leviathan. We have 2 different Leviathans because it's such a toolbox heavy deck. Each Leviathan does their own kind of thing nicely, and it's just like, it's better to have the utility than it is to have that consistent, I'm always going to be this Leviathan. The Sleep Mode is very interesting, allows you to just, you know, stall out, stop an attack, fill up your trash. Remember, it does have that discard 2 to do its thing. Rage Mode is allowed to just clear everything lower than level 5. Just finding ways to slow down your opponent. Pokepamon is as a way to get over floodgates. Sistermon Blanc we saw in Royal Knights. It's just draw one, or trash 1, draw 2, and you want to do both in 7 Great Demon Lords. And then we see some interesting text here. The Merciful Mode, I find it interesting. Obviously, Merciful Mode has a lot of value. It being able to bottom deck a lot of your opponent's graveyard, very, very important, very, very relevant. But yeah, one calling, it's a really good card. Digimon Emperor, just again, slowing down your opponent so you can establish your own game plan and get a Gouda on the field. 4 of Beelzemon, it has Rush, you can play it, attack, also the Digivolve 2. Again, slowing your opponent down. Every card is probably, every play you're doing, you're trying to find a way to either slow your opponent down, attack into something. Maybe you do a chip or 2 so your Gudamon play does actually clear out enough security when you do go for game. Just little things like that. Just little things like that makes the deck go a long way. I don't really want to go into every single card. You guys can read the lists on your own. I feel like that'll take up way too much time. So as our introduction, maybe I'll start going into some of the deck choices we clearly see. 4 Beelzemon seems to be favored, 4 Creepymon. I think, like, again, when you look at a list, like the 4-ofs tell you a lot, I feel, of like, oh, 4 Lucemon. 4 Lucemon Chaos Mode, and trying the spice for the BT7 secret rares. Just, we're trying things, right? Is the list solved? I don't know. Dan, if you're in the comments, let me know if there was anything you would change or go up and down on. I'm sure you are the premier, as it were, you are the premier 7 Great Demon Lords player of the end of North America. Like, I'm sure, I know we had one, and we probably had one top in OPE. I haven't gone over those lists yet, and yeah, whatever. You guys get the point. Iden, whatever. In the comments, just ask questions. Find him. Don't find him. That's me. Eden, if you want attention, go in the comments. People respond to those comments. I'll probably pin it. You are the premier 7 Great Demon Lords player of the weekend of North America. I talk too much. I probably talked him up too much. I'm sorry for that. Too much attention. And then we get to talk about 2 MirageGaogamons. This is Jason's 13th place. Jason's 13th place MirageGaogamon hasn't changed. It's been a long time without you. There's not too much to say. Oh, the one thing I do want to talk about is Beelzemon. Beelzemon is just a straight up replacement for the Madoki Betamon, inheritable jamming, but also as a clutch blocker. So just straight, I think for the deck, it just ends up being a straight up upgrade. So that's nice to know. Beyond that, we see that they chose to actually have 2 security bombs, one of the MirageGaogamon from BT13. We saw it, I think we did see it be relevant, being able to bounce a tamer in a clutch moment. So that's always something to consider. I feel like people should be running out of one-of, but one-ofs also do feel bad because, you know, if you don't see it at the right time, then did it actually exist? You know what I mean? Just little things like that. Yeah, but congrats, 13th place, got your invite. And then this one is 7th place Patrick's list, running the CoreTCG. Please tell me in the comments, Patrick, if the CoreTCG ever came up, because if it being 6K and then you can go and then you can getting over ruin mode, was that ever helpful for you? Please let me know. I would love to know. But Other than that, again, it's MirageGaogamon. We see the introduction of Biyomon once again, and yeah, just pretty normal. We're only one security bomb in favor of maxing out on our consistency pieces, and we also have an ice wall. But yeah, no, it's 7th place, so you got an Omnimon for this deck. So this is an Omnimon-worthy MirageGaogamon. Now we get to talk about 6 different Numemon, starting off with Sam's 16th place. Opting to play the Matt Ishida from the starter deck. When you discard a card, gain a memory. Lets you, and it's a memory setter, so sometimes it just lets you play with 4 memory on your turn, guaranteed. And if they put you ever over, then you just always have that extra 1. Not bad. Beyond that, though, it's not too much to talk about. Favoring Chikurimon over Chumon in terms of the split. 4-2 split on the Digipolice Tamer Numemon. Actually playing Venus, playing Shine, playing Death X. Always interesting to see. The return of Protoform in all these lists I feel like is actually relevant. But yeah, it's Numemon. It hasn't changed. It's still the most represented deck. Its position as best deck might be faltering a little bit. People say that 7 Great Demon Lords has a good enough matchup into it that throughout a tournament might be enough. That was 16th place Sam, and we're going into 14th place Jesse. You see the difference, actually favoring 1 more Chumon over Chikurimon, 3 Edamons, playing the Lu, playing the Digimon Emperor, playing the Death X, fine, blah, 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 blah. You guys know how it is. 3-2 split on the Digipolice Numemon Satsuki. Not too much to say. I'm trying to speed through this. Everyone's had the same Digibubbles too, which is kind of funny. Congrats on 14th place, Jesse. Now we're going into Marco's 11th place list. Here come the Matt returns. 2 of the Lu Awadas, Lu Awada is just basically like if just trying to establish that you want more aggro. You're trying to get more rookies onto the board. You're trying to high roll the Ukamons, and that's kind of what you want. That's just why you would run Lu. Beyond that, we see a favoritism towards the Floodgate Chumon over Chikuri, and then overall just more Floodgates in general. The last 2 decks we're running 2, we're on 5 here. Interesting that we'd rather the Chumon over Chikuri. Rather stop our opponent from doing it's more of you run the Chikuri so you don't lose to Death X. Chumon you run more to stop your opponent from doing shenanigans. And then 3-4 split on the Satskis. Maybe I wrote that wrong, but we'll find out in 2 days when Eggman slaps me and has me corrected. I'm sorry. Anyway, this was Marco's 11th place list. Going into 10th place, Joseph's. Again, no, see, look, favoritism towards the Chikuri over the Chumon. Only 4. Only 4. Oh my god, I'm all over the place. Only 4 Floodgates. 1 Chimeramon stands out as the biggest thing here, and the absence of Ruin Mode. Choosing no Ruin Mode, back onto the 2 Edamons as per like the golden ratio or whatever you may want to call it. Beyond that, we have just a Lu remains, no Digimon Emperor, 3-2 split on the Satsuki. I don't know, I got a frog in my throat or something. Gyokomon. Opponent's turn, when a Digimon comes unsuspended, draw 1. When a Digimon comes unsuspended, and there's a lot of unsuspension, so it makes sense to me. But yeah, I believe this was Joseph's 10th place list. Going into Austin, we had a lot of content creators at this tournament. We tried to feature a lot of them. This is 8th place. Zenitsu's list. Austin. His name's Austin for those on the public record. We use his government name for this. Check out if he has. I don't know if he made a video yet. Here's something I always want to talk about. The reason I do delay reporting these lists sometimes is I do want to give the content creators or anyone who wants to become a content creator just like that day or so to post the list first themselves. And I feel like that's something I do, and it's one of those pillars I die on. I don't release those lists right away because I want to give people I want people the chance to talk about their deck first. I don't want to be the first one to talk about someone else's deck. But I also have to do it for one day. Like if that's not fair, then complain in the comments, but I think it's plenty fair. Yeah, so Zenitsu, 8th place. Congrats on your Omnimon. This is an Omnimon winning Numemon list. Hopefully he has a video out. Hopefully he talks about it on his podcast or something. Catch me on there sometimes, I guess. We actually are on 5 floodgates, 3-2 split favoring Chumon over Chukuri, 3-2 split on the Digitamers, actually, or Digipolice, 2 lose, 1 Digimon Emperor, and then here's a cute little tech that he actually employed that I didn't see it anywhere else so far. Merciful mode. You know, you sat down and you said to yourself, hey, 7 Great Demon Lords cares about their trash. Let's remove that for them. So I thought that was a really interesting spice that he was able to include into his Numemon. There's only one other Numemon that did better. So again, Zenitsu's list, check out his channel. And then this is 8th place Dwight's list. And again, the interesting tech here, or I'll get to the interesting tech, playing one of the Claw Garomon. I love saying that when he's around. 4-3 split on the Digipolice stuff. No Lu, 2 Digimon Emperors. And then the return of 1 Waramonzamon is actually very interesting. 0 Chumon in terms of floodgates. 3 Chikurimon stands out. And then the biggest card that we should talk about is Chaosmon. I think this is the first time I get to talk about Chaosmon. DNA, 1 yellow, 1 black, level 6. When Digivolving, Digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon, then one of their Digimon gets minus 8k. So this is probably just getting rid of anything. And Digivolving anything by 3 usually is going to get it enough to, you know, 8k over something. Unless, you know, they're 7 Great Demon Lords. So this might have been a bad call against 7 Great Demon Lords. I don't know. But he did the best he's the best Numemon player of the weekend. So. And then end of opponent's turn, trash the top card of both player security. So if you can end your turn on this, it's got blocker barrier, so counts as a boss in a deep brigade. But so it's a really cool, like, get rid of a guy, be defensive. It's an extra attack if you happen to be sitting on 2 level 6s. And then if it's not enough for a game, if the turn passes back to you, you get to do 1 extra check again. Not bad. I respect the thoughts there. It's just that Digivolve might not have been the best thing overall. Who knows? And then yeah, so that was Dwight's 6th place. This is also an Omnimon winning decklist. Now going into 2 vaccine armor list. This is DigiSean's. Please be right. Oh my god, I get his name wrong all the time because in my head, Shane. Gmail Neutron ruined me on that name, I think, is really the big problem. I think it's DigiSean 37. If I got the number wrong, I apologize. He's got also a YouTube channel. But this, again, he's got a great YouTube channel. Look at his stuff. Again, if he has his own video, please watch that instead of this, because he obviously knows more than I do. But first thing that comes to mind is I love how adorably condensed the deck is. If you notice the other list, they go into row 4 or 5 or 6. And it's kind of funny. So seeing him just a nice compact 3 rows amuses me. But let's talk about the actual deck. We're on 2 Pillowmon, 4 Angelwomon, no Angemon Aces is a notable included. So we're kind of cutting back on level 5s in general and upping the count of Awakening of the Golden Knight. We're on 3, 2 Megalosparks. Again, it's a good card, and it's a good card for a reason. It's a minus DP that lasts until the end of the opponent's turn. 2 Digimon Emperor, because we just want to slow down what our opponent's doing, especially if we're looking at Numemons all day. And the rest of that is just as you expect. Only 10 champions, every single golden armor we can run, plus the 2 gold Veedramons to cap it off. 4 yellow memory boost, not on trainings. Notable, and 4 Magnamon X, 3 Rapidmon. This has been a golden ratio. And playing the Salamon is interesting. No Messenger of Hopes is something also that's like worth mentioning about what they did or Sean was able to do in this list. So again, DigiSean, check him out. DigiSean 37 is his YouTube channel. If he has his own video, please leave that a like and a comment. That was 8th place Sean's list, and this is 4th place Tony's list, so one better. We see an increase. We're up on 5 level 5s, still on the Salamon, still on the Patamon. Instead of playing the Floodgate Pillowmon, we're on Kudamon instead. Just a searcher sometimes is just good. 5 level 5s, same ratio of 4s, and then actually cutting back on a Rapidmon X, and to introduce, I believe, Venusmon, because I don't think Sean was running Venusmon. Nope. And then 2 Shine Greymons, Ruin mode. So yeah, we see the rapid speed kind of shift downwards. And then 3 Messenger of Hopes. Physical trainings over the memory boost is interesting. Only 3 of the Awakening Godly Knights. That's where we get some of the numbers in Burst of Sean. 2 TKs, 4 TK from BTE 14, and then 1 Shu Yulin. I believe we covered this list on the tournament, and we actually saw Dwight run the Shu Yulin, and it actually worked pretty well. You normally see this in VMon, so just taking that logic and putting it here makes sense. Yeah, so this was 4th place, congrats, and this was 3rd place, Martin Lee's list, AllForceVeedramon. I've been on the record saying that Mirage is just, or AllForce is worse Mirage, but here we are. Martin proved me wrong, and I love being chronically wrong. I like being wrong. Wrong is fun. Being right all the time is not. It's not fun. It's you start. I don't know. I like being humble. Anyway, about the list. It's a cool list. We actually, for the first time in like what feels like 2 years, we actually saw this starter deck VMon use its warp effect, and that was so amusing to me. I was so enamored by the fact that I saw it work. 4 VMon from BT11, also the EX1 when you unsuspend inheritable, gain 1 memory. 2 Lanamon, 4 gold Veedramon, 4 Magnamon. Only 8 champions is very interesting to me. Especially since this deck can be bricky, man. So like not finding, oh wait, I guess we're on 11 champions. No, 10 champions, my mistake. And then only 5 level 5. So it's just getting worse as we go to the up the levels. And then also 5 level 6s. Only 1 X antibody, which is very interesting. And like the one thing I wanted to mention as to why maybe AllForce did a little better over Mirage is because the X antibody has the potential to work on your opponent's turn. Like that interaction on your opponent's turn could be the thing that's getting him just that 1 game better, that 1 statistical point better to win the day, as well as this Magnamon. This Magnamon in security can sometimes win you games unexpectedly, right? 4 trainings and then 2 of this pause plugin. It's probably the first time I get to talk about this card. Again, it's a plugin. If you have a tamer, ignore the color. Main effect, until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your opponents gets -6k DP, and that Digimon's win Digivolve effects don't activate. That's like a pseudo Venusmon, and it's kind of sick. It was so dope seeing that work out that way. That was cool. 2 V-Tamer tie, 1 Davis Monamiya, the new one, the movie promo one, just on play, lets you play a V-Mon. You'll never get the other effect. And then at the start of your turn, if you have a free, gain 1 memory. So sometimes these little memory gainers can extend the turn to where you need it to. So I like the idea of we're playing it at 1. 3 of the best green tamer of the game, Davis Modamiya, just a memory set or search 3. And then the interesting thing here is these 4 arena. The interesting thing here is we're playing 2 of the Davis Kens. And what I found interesting, like the second, so the you won't ever get this DNA effect, the win DNA, trash 3 sources. But as long as your Digimon digivolves, you can get 1 memory off as this Davis Ken by suspending it, which is pretty sick. It was again turn extension, and then at the start of your turn, you get to play the VMon. And I guess if you happen to, like, you only have 4 searching VMons, but if you happen to be able to get yourself into a position where you're looping this VMon again and again and again, I could see why this is value. And then also leaving that VMon on board, and then the Magnamon comes out. Next thing you know, like they check the security, you've still got a standing VMon, and then the Magnamon hits them with the Digivolution effect, and like now you're rolling. It's cool stuff. 1 Matt and Sora. I love Matt and Sora. Like that's been one of my favorite tamers for a long while to just like try to include where I can. So it makes sense. So anyway, grats Martin on 3rd place, and my true champion. I'm sorry, the true undefeated player as of round 8. The Tyrant list. I'm sure plenty of people are excited to see the TyrantKabuterimon List. Yeah, let's just get into it. It played an amazing game. We covered him multiple times on the stream. It just he was rolling it, man. It was sick to watch. 4 Tennomon, 2 of the starter deck Lotmon, 2 of the memory blocking Terriermon, 4 Kabuterimon just because it's a searcher and searchers are good. Tennomon's insane. and then you're kind of running a lot of the baseline package, so we'll cover that real fast. 4 Blade Kuwagamon, 4 Meta Life Kuwagamon, 4 Tyrant, 3 Izzy. That's all mainstay in my opinion. It's interesting to see the return of Stingmon from BT3. It's just 1 cost Evo is too valuable sometimes, man. It's really, really good. To this day, it's a valuable asset to decks and turboing. 2 of the Kabuterimon from BT 15 along with Mega Kabuterimon Ace plays are really important, and then just this Kabuterimon being immune to your opponent's effects, busted. 2 of the Grand Kuwagamon Aces, 2 Hercules Kabuterimon from BT 15 as well, also immune when it's suspended. So it's just, we're just doing bug things. And then the inclusion of the Rhino Kabuterimon, I don't think he's like the pioneer of this, but it's so interesting to see that this card is coming back just because they decided that it doesn't need to be just so hyper specific. It also works with insectoids, and it's great. I think that's so cool. I think that's great that, you know, cards are outliving their format sometimes, especially if they're just not over oppressive, but good. 1 Argomon, this is where I go on a rant about how hidden potential should be banned. I think even at 1 it's too powerful. I mean, I know it's not devastating the format or anything, but I just don't think it should be around. I just don't think so. Sorry. 3-2 on your training to memory boost, 2 Emperors. You know, grats, man. Like, 2nd place, you went undefeated after 8 rounds, 9 rounds, you just hit a brick, and that's Digimon. So grats to Stephen Lee and his 2nd place TyrantKabuterimon. And then let's talk about Bryce the Man Miller. Yeah, our defending national NA champion takes another tournament here at CoreTCG, the first EX6 event. Grats to him, playing Imperial. Wait, no. Oh my god, no. We're talking about Imperial. Oh, this is not Bryce's list. I am so sorry. This is Randy's 12th place list. I'm sorry. We'll get to Bryce in a second. Return of Hammerspark is so cool to me. Yeah, it's very exciting. Only one of the Invincible Dragon Insect Fusion stands out to me, just because this card so clearly is Imperial's answer to Magnamon X, and it's so interesting to see. So we might see this card go up in value over time. Up in value, but not. I don't talk about monetary. I talk about numbers index. Probably see people start playing 2 to even 3 of this card. But the interesting things to talk about for me is always, did we play this starter deck? Like, the level 4s will always be the most interesting part to me. We are playing 4 of the BT12 pair, and then we're playing 1 of the BT8 or starter deck 9 Stingmon, along with 1 of the EX1 Vmon. Just an assortment of rookies that have been pretty mainstay at this point. These are the rookies we kind of run in very similar ratios. 2 Togemogumon. I love Togemogumon. I feel like everyone should be running it, at least 1 or 2 of it, just to kind of even out your consistency. If you play the deck, you know what I mean, why a blue-green level 4 can help your consistency go up over game after game after game. 3 of the starter deck Paladramon is kind of intense, but I can see why if we're playing the starter deck Dragon Mode. This starter deck Dragon Mode goes hard if you're being aggressive, and I want people to, like, I just want people to respect that. Like, we saw Bryce pull it off, and it, like, the amount of memory you could potentially gain, the things you can do, insane. I think this with hidden potential was stupid, just stupid. If you played in BT8, you remember. And then we got 1 BT12 fighter mode. Just, it's a good tech, it's a good defensive option, it's a good card. 1 Omnimon Blitz for game, still good. 4-2 split on the Davis Ken and just Davis. And the return of Hammersparks is pretty good. So I wonder how many times you caught people with Hammerspark insecurity. And then the Digibubbles, we're on just draw ones. I wonder which one actually ends up being better. I feel like they're just funny to me. They're the same card. They're just slightly different. If I didn't say it, that was Randy's 12th place list. And this is Sakib. This is 9th place. Sakib. Hossein. I want to be educated, and I want to be cultured, and I want to be able to say these names in the proper, like, enunciation. That's not right. I want to say the vowels correctly. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I tried. I'm sorry. I think trying is better than not trying. Ninth place list. Yeah, so we see an increase in the Invincible Dragon Insect Fusion. 2 Gigadeath. Just security bombs are important. Playing 1 of the BT12 Pilodramon over just playing 3 of the starter deck, 3 fighter mode aces, 3 dragon modes, and then 1 BT12. I already mentioned that, but none of the starter deck Imperial is interesting. And then again, just the similar ratios here. The previous list was running promo Wormmon, so I should have called that out. But here, again, instead of promo Wormmon, we're just upping this Vmon. I still think this purple Wormmon is like the best. It's so good, but I can see why it's only good enough to be at 1. Maybe 2. So I just kind of like this. Level 4s are very similar. It's just instead of the Togomogumon, we decided to up the starter deck Sting and the EX1 XV and just be free all the time. No armors involved. Just interesting stuff. But yeah, this was that again. Like we see the 2 Invincible Dragon Fusions and a Security Bomb. Like this card goes hard sometimes, and I think this card needs to be respected. This just to confirm, this was 9th place Akib's Hossein's list. I'm sorry. Now it's Bryce's first place list. Sorry for the confusion. 2 Hammer Spark, 1 Gigadeath, 1 Insect Fusion. So maybe I'm just wrong, but 1 Hidden Potential. Look at that, 1 Hidden Potential plus the Dragon mode. We saw this in the final match. It went disgusting. It went hard. Only 3 of the BT12 Stingmon stands out to me as pretty interesting, actually. Yeah, we're opting to up the starter deck Stingmon 1 more. It's just a draw. If you can get just like in BT8 when this was a normal deck, just this Stingmon, once you are able to establish your first Pilodramon and attack twice, the sheer amount of raw draws you are getting it just fixes your hand for the rest of the game, and you can keep moving forward and just win the game. 2 Lydramon is interesting. Well, I wonder why you would run Lydramon over Togomogumon. Just maybe we really value the suspension and the aggression that suspension gives us, rather than the defensive option that Togomogumon could give us. Either way, they end up being the same card, and again, I like to mention that this does help you curve out more consistently in terms of a level 4 lineup. But yeah, it's nice to see I get validated by our champion. Lower diversity of the rookies, just 4, 4, 4, and then just 1 of the purple one. I think you have to play this Wormmon. The Wormmon is too good. 3-4 split on the Davis and Kens, and then 1 Hidden Potential. I think this card's just way too good, man. Combo it with this Dragon mode, disgusting. But yeah, let's wrap it up. That was our CoreTCG's July online regional EX6, the first EX6 regional of North America. I know a couple of other people have had one at this point. We have Europe, we have Oceania. So it's fun. I hope you guys had fun on the stream. I always have fun on the stream. I try to make it fun. It's very easy to just be straight the whole 9 rounds and just only talk about the game and be so competitively driven, but it's honestly we're there to have fun. Most people know how to play the game and can learn from the chat or learn as we go, and it's more about the ride, and then instead of just being so competitive for 9 rounds straight. So I hope you guys enjoy whatever I do. If you guys ever have criticisms of how I do things, always in the comments. I try really hard to comment on almost everything. It's just who I am. If I don't, that's just because I'm busy and I'm not in the mood. I'm human. Like, share, subscribe. See you guys next time. EggmanEvents.com. DigiPanda, thanks for co-hosting for me. I forgot to shout you out. You're the greatest.